Gananam tva ganapatikum havamahe kavim kavinam upamashravasamam jyestarajam brahma spatana shivanuti vashiri saranam. Om. This week marks the 1-year anniversary of when at least my life exploded due to COVID. End of my job that I'd had up to that point, end of the volunteer work I'd had, and to a lot of things. And I noticed that this week for me and also the people that I've been talking to, there's this longing for when are things going to go back to normal. And I think it's dawned on me that they're not. You know, all that stuff about preparing ourselves for the Aquarian age. I think I get it now. So things are never going to go back to how they were. And we have to just keep doing yoga. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to keep doing yoga. All right. Let's start out with tuning in. In class today, we'll be sort of very broadly looking at the koshas. And so as we're getting ready to step into practice, let's examine how that applies to preparation for our practice together. So first of all, we'll start with the most tangible aspect of ourself, component of ourself, and that's the body. So check in with your body. Feel your body. Feel the impact of gravity on your body. It's easy to do that by feeling where you are in contact with the ground or a chair, if you're sitting in a chair. And let your body get more and more still. And we're going to look at our energy body. And we do this largely through working with the breath. So pay attention to breathing in and breathing out. And cultivate now and ongoing your ability to feel the energy in your body, and in particular, how breathing in and out affects the energy in your body. And now we'll shift to our mind. And just like we try to bring stillness to the physical body, we'll do our best to bring stillness to the mental body, the mental kosha, the mental component of ourself. A nice way to do that is to quickly pick a mental image that is representational of sort of the highest aspect of yourself. I have a tiny little Buddha statue that always pops right into my mind. This may be something that exists in real life. It might just be a dot of light, a triangle of light. Let that come into your mind's eye and use that as a focal point. Just like we use a drishti, a focal point in physical asana, use this drishti for your mind. Great. And now, finally, we'll tap into the kosha that's the that's beyond our sense of our self, our sense of our egoic self, that part that connects us with everything. And we'll do that with the chant. Let's do a deep inhale and an exhale. And then one more inhale to start. Namo Guru Dev Namo. Namo Guru Dev Namo. Okay, we'll do spinal flex, and maybe think about it in a novel way. Have your spine itself and the muscles around your spine be as uncontracted, as relaxed as you can manage, and work to have the main force of the movement be your arms, the strength of your arms, holding onto your knees, pulling your chest forward. Do your best to let your spine relax so that your arms can pull you deeper into this forward stretch. Good. And then use your hands pressing down and out through your knees to push your spine the other direction. So it makes sense. If a muscle is contracted, it's going to be harder to stretch it or relax it. So do your best to let your spine stay relaxed. We'll do it nice and slow to start out here. Once you get the hang of it, go ahead and go as quickly as you like. All right, inhale straight. Work with Mulband. And exhale. Put one hand on the floor, reach the other hand up and over. So getting some lateral movement into the spine. And again, use the leverage of your arms to get the side of your body to stretch. You can contract on the opposite side, but do your best to let the expanded side surrender. Good, let's do the other side. And again, other side. And one more time to the opposite side. Letting gravity take your arm. So we've done backward and forward, side to side. Now let's do some rotational movement, limbering up the spine. Take your hand over to opposite knee, other hand behind you. Same principle. Do your best to have your spine stay uncontracted and have your arms, your hands pull you around. Other way. We'll do 3 times to each side. Excellent. All right. We're going to jump into the physical part of the set now. So come onto your back. We're still loosely working with Svadhisthana, second chakra, and today the unconscious and the collective conscious component to that. So we're going to come onto our backs. We'll be down here for exercises. Okay. For the first exercise, you cross your ankles. You'll end up switching, so it doesn't matter which one comes first. We're just going to take our hips directly side to side. You have your arms on the ground, but what I noticed is having my hands along my hips helps to keep me from torquing. You want your hips to just go directly side to side. All right, so you'll be bearing more weight through your heel and your shoulders, and your hips will just be sliding back and forth. Your bottom will be sliding back and forth across the floor. This is going to work on the fluid systems of the body, so the kidneys, and also the lymphatic system. And as your heel gets sore, you can switch the crossing of your feet. This is also great. The next three that we're doing are all great for the alignment of the bones and the muscles in the pelvis. Almost done. All right, great. Come back to neutral. Work with Mulband. All right, both legs come up. Bring them up as high as you can, keeping your knees unbent, straight legs. And then you're going to take your legs in circles, moving simultaneously, nice big circles. Svadhisthana is associated with the water element. And the seat of it is in the sacrum, directly behind the pubic bone. So as you're doing this exercise, feel the alignment, the healthy alignment of your hips, your pelvic bowl, and the muscles that support that, all being aided, being harmonized. We're also letting circulation flow out of the legs down in towards the pelvis and belly, and stimulating two of the major lymphatic cleansing stations in the body, the big lymph node area in the hips, in the groin, and also in the lower abdomen. Almost done. All right, legs together. Legs together, make some smaller circles. And then take your arms up and mirror that movement. Synchronize the movement of the arms and legs like they're dance partners. Good, and I'll go the other direction. Great, inhale, and relax down. All right, for the next one, probably being on your forearms is going to be the easiest, and you want to balance so that your head and your feet are about the same level, and gaze at your toes. All right, now you're going to add to that, and you're going to shift the position of your hands. So you're going to pull your upper body towards your legs, and then back down, towards your legs, and then back down. Great, inhale, up, exhale, down. All right, next, come on to your hands and knees. And we'll balance on our hands and our toes, and we're gonna alternately pick up one hand and opposite hand and foot, other hand and foot, back and forth. Get the hang of it, and then if you can get a little more fluid in the movement, do that. Oops. Oh goodness. Let's see. Great. Come back to sitting. Press your hands over your chest. And we're going to do a circling movement with the hips. If you want to start by having your hands on your hip bones to get the hang of it, you're going to be moving your hip bones in circles. This is a harder area to move in circles than, say, doing your belly or your chest. So it's going to be a smaller, tighter movement. And hands over the chest. if you participated in or watched either of the last couple of weeks when we were working with Svadhisthana. Now that we're down here circling in the pelvis, if you can visualize the location of Svadhisthana or have a physical sensation of it, and dwell on that while you continue the movement. If you're doing it right, it's a little bit of a workout. You'll feel it in your belly. Now reverse and move the circles the other direction. Doing your best to stay aware of Svadhisthana, and maybe that's simply being aware of the front of your pubic bone. Great, and then come to center. Inhale, lengthen the spine up, work with Mulband. All right, next you want to jiggle your fat. You want to, really what we're doing is shaking the fluid all throughout the body, the lymph system. If you think about jumping on a trampoline, that is a great way to get all of the fluid systems of the body moving around. So you can do this sitting or standing or lying on your back, but get some good shaking movement going.
Do the worm.
Do the worm. Keep it up a little bit longer. Great. And then whether you're on your back, seated, or standing, go ahead and come to seated, interlace your fingers, bring them up over your head, and move your arms in kind of a wild, exuberant, circling movement. Switch the direction of your circles whenever it feels appropriate. So this first part of what we're doing today works on the component of the koshas, the part of ourselves that's the physical body. The name for this part, the translation of Annamaya kosha, is the food body. So it's the body that gets sustenance from food. That gives it a very real sense. And in yoga, we do asana and physical movements to nurture and care for that component of ourself. This is the last physical thing that we'll do. Great. Inhale and exhale. The next component of our big self is the energy body, the part that I think sometimes we confuse with the sensations of our physical body, and that through yoga and pranayama, we really start to develop a sense of feeling that energetic charge throughout ourselves. So the way that we enhance that, purify, harmonize that part of ourselves is with breath work. And I'm going to demonstrate the next practice in a couple of different seated positions. If you're incredibly flexible, then you can sit with your knees wide apart, your toes together, and your bottom on the ground. So I can't do that. And so there's a couple of choices. I find that for this particular practice, sitting on a folded up towel is better than a pillow because it's so firm. But you want something nice and firm, and you want to sit. In fact, I have to fold that even one more time. And you want to sit so that the pelvic floor touches, you've got body weight resting on the first chakra, essentially. All right, so that's a fairly demanding order for the knees. Let me show you a different way to do that. I got a chair over here on the sidelines I'm going to grab. All right, so if you're sitting in a chair, again, make your knees as wide apart as they'll go. Your hands rest on your knees, and you just make sure that the entirety of the pelvic floor rests with weight against whatever you're sitting on. Sometimes I wonder if the way that things were described and taught in ancient yoga were just because they didn't have what we have now. So we have chairs, which is awesome. So use a chair. If that makes it a more fulfilling practice. All right, so with distinct pressure on the pelvic floor, and for those of you who are familiar with the first chakra, Muladhara, feel as though you've positioned yourself in the angle of your hips so that you've got the center of pressure right on that chakra. Okay, and then hands on the knees. The gaze is going to be towards the tip of the nose. And that eye mudra puts distinct pressure on the optic nerve. So this starts to be, again, a drishti, not only physically, but also mentally. So then that's working on the mental kosha, the manamaya kosha, our mind, helping us to nurture, still, and harmonize our mind. So for as much of the practice as you can, have that strong eye mudra towards the tip of the nose. And we're going to do simple, basic ujjayi, inhaling, feeling the breath move through the two separate nostrils up to the brow point. And exhale, feel the breath move from the brow point, splitting, moving out the two nostrils. But keep that strong eye mudra. Now here's a concept or an idea around ujjayi. If you think about a balloon that's full of air and that you pinch the opening a little bit and let air go out really slowly, that's what we're doing with ujjayi. We're using the little constriction in the throat to stretch out how long it takes for air to move in and out. The nature of the mind is to jump around, to look for adversity, opportunity, to allow us to operate safely and successfully in the world. Right now we have to calm that natural tendency by using the eye mudra, strongly gazing towards the nose, and feeling the prana move in and out. Up through the two nostrils, merging at the brow and back down. Reminding ourselves that the tip of the nose has a corresponding relationship to Muladhara, where the body weight is currently pressing down. And we're going to incorporate now a component that's for that kosha that's beyond what we know, what we think of as ourself, as the egoic self. You're going to cultivate a sense of smell. Work on being able to smell, and in particular, we're looking for the scent of sandalwood. The scent of sandalwood is the scent of that collective consciousness, the universal consciousness, that plane where wisdom and intuition resides. Controlling the manamaya kosha, the mind part of ourselves that's jumping around. Focusing on the weight of the body at Muladhara. The intensity of the focus of the eyes at the tip of the nose. The movement of prana, of energy, through the nostrils up to the brow point. And that ethereal scent of sandalwood that signifies our connection to Vijnanamaya kosha, the collective consciousness, the universal. We most often get to this place, cultivate this place through meditation. The longer that we meditate, both in a given setting and over the years, the more we nurture this component of ourself. And just beyond this component is the bliss component, Anandamaya. And the longer that we're able to sit in meditation, the more that that bliss state becomes available to us. And you might start to experience that blissfulness as we move through this practice a couple more minutes. Just a bit longer. Keep the eye mudra. Keep up that awareness of the scent of sandalwood. Great. And then we're going to stop the practice, sit in a more relaxed way of sitting. Hold on to that super consciousness state, that meditative state, and any element of the bliss state that we may have tapped into. All right, good. Next practice, this is one that we have probably all done before, but we're going to really refine it and make it more powerful. So typically this is called body drops. And again, if getting down on the floor and doing this is hard, or you have weakness in your hands or knees, your wrists, then do it sitting in a chair. And so you would just lift yourself up enough to where you could let go and feel the pelvis make contact with the floor or the chair. I'm going to move the chair and demonstrate. Sitting on the ground. So for you guys that can do Padmasana or half Padmasana or do those. Otherwise, you're going to sit so that you've got as much of the pelvic floor in contact with the ground as you can. We're going to use another eye mudra, and again, this is helping us, in among many other things, to focus the mind. So we're using a physical drishti that helps us establish a mental drishti and override the activity of our mental state. So this one is Shambhavi Mudra, so you're gazing upwards just as much as you possibly can. So we'll do that as we inhale, and we'll inhale through the mouth. So through the mouth, engage Shambhavi Mudra. Hold the breath in, then lift yourself up and thump your pelvis. Doesn't need to be hard or jolting. Do that 3 times. Then release the eye mudra and exhale through the nose. Inhale through the mouth and engage Shambhavi Mudra. Eyes up as hard as they'll go. And then with the breath held in, thump 3 times. Feel energy moving throughout your body. Exhale. Feel the energy all throughout your body. And again, we're going to do 7 rounds altogether. So inhaling through the mouth, engaging Shambhavi Mudra. Now we're going to thump, and each time you thump, feel energy move up the spine and throughout your body. Feel that energy circulate, circulate, circulate. Exhale through the nose. Circulate the energy, feel the activation. For those of you who are good with visualizations, you might see Muladhara. You might feel the energy moving up through the Sushumna. Circulate the energy. 3 more rounds. What's great is that as we're striking Muladhara, activating the energy there, your eyes are up in Shambhavi Mudra, giving it the guidepost about where to go. So use that guidance of the eyes to help you draw the energy up. Circulate the energy, feel it move through every cell of your body. Circulate, exhale through the nose. I think we got 2 more. Circulate, circulate, circulate. Feel the chi, feel the energy moving throughout. Maybe even start to visualize it. Start to see and feel the passageways. And exhale. Let's go ahead and release out of that. We're going to do another combination practice, so breathing practice. Sit however is comfortable. With this breath, we'll inhale in sips, and you're going to feel like the air has a quality like water, so that you're sipping in and feeling your belly get fuller and fuller, almost like it's over full and sloshing over. So let's see how that goes. Full sloshy belly, hold the breath. Circulate the chi. Start to develop awareness of all of the meridians. Feel them in your fingers, your palms, your arms, across your chest. Start to feel the pathways that the energy moves. And when you need to, exhale. Fill yourself up to your max. Circulate the energy. Start to have a physical awareness of that central channel in the spine, and then the crisscrossing Ida and Pingala on either side. Feel the pathways that move up through your legs, through your back, to the top of your head, and back down. Pathways that go from your head out through your arms. Oops. Be aware of the energy that's just outside the limits of your physical body. Tap into the unconscious, your unconscious, the collective unconscious, the infinite wisdom that's beyond the gates of our individual self, that lets you know where these pathways are, that lets you be able to work with universal images about the energy that moves in your body. Let's do a few more rounds. Do 2 more rounds, and for these last 2, if you have any ability to locate and visualize each of the chakras, work with that. Any of the breath holding practices that we do help us to get past that barrier of the mind and move to the universal consciousness. So, all right, let's just do a couple more things. I'm going to save relaxation for the last, because that's the closest thing that gets us to experiencing Anandamaya bliss. But on the way there, one of the vehicles to get us there is mantra and chanting. And we'll do quite a bit more of that in the next few weeks. But for today, we'll simply chant some long sat nams. And the ratio of the sat is like 30-1. So really, we're making the sound ah for a really long time, as long as your breath will sustain. So go ahead and let your hands sit in your lap. And take a full inhale, and we'll start to chant. Sa sa You keep going while I sort myself out. And just do a couple more. If your thought is in a different pace than mine, that's no problem. Now just sit in as calm a place as you can muster. Sit in the stillness that's beyond our mind. And if you prefer, go ahead and relax on your back for this part. My favorite description of Anandamaya Kosha, of the bliss component of ourself that's always there, it's just a matter of us accessing it, of harmonizing, of cultivating it. The description that worked the best for me is it's the place where there's no more hankering, where exactly where we are right now is everything, is bliss, it's perfect. So I'll go ahead and turn up the gong music. And cultivate the bliss component of yourself, either seated or lying on your back. In just a moment, we're going to come back upright. But right now, let's explore simultaneously experiencing all of our koshas at the same time. So have awareness of your bliss body, your bliss aspect. Have awareness of your awareness body, your ability to connect to that which is beyond the ego. And then the ego self, the mind self, the part that is allows us to operate in this world. And your energy body, feel the chi moving throughout you. and then your physical body. So notice that we have all of these at the same time, that they interplay and interact with each other, that one may be dominant, but that we have the ability to cultivate and harmonize all of them. Hang on to that simultaneous awareness, and then begin to move, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your wrists and ankles, stretch your whole body from fingertips to toe tips. Maybe shrug your shoulders, maybe wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug. Rub the palms of your hands together, rub the soles of your feet together. Bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, drop your knees from side to side. Eventually letting them stay over on one side or the other, and use your hands to push yourself back upright. So just like all of us have what we think of as positive and negative components of ourselves, we have to embrace and cultivate the positive, and we do ourselves a disservice, a harm, by not embracing and acknowledging the negative parts of ourselves. So as it turns out, the Aquarian age has the positives and negatives too. On the positive side, we have more equality. We have more care for the earth. We have a move away from the material to the more spiritual, the energetic. Reversal of the power dynamic. But on the shadow side, we have disruption. We have a great belief in falsehoods, cultivation of falsehoods, weird, obscure, culty groups forming. And we have disruption in our personal lives and experiences. Again, to our detriment, we ignore or downplay those aspects. We have to acknowledge and figure out a way to work successfully with those as part of the playing field. All right, let's do one more Satnam to end our practice for today. Thank you so much for being out there. I think that even though we're in different times, maybe different places, we're still connecting on those outer koshas, in the bliss level, in the awareness level. The divine in me bows to the divine in you and realizes that they are the same. Satnam. Namaste. Whatever your practice is, keep doing it. See you next week.